Hello everyone, this is Marissa with the Art of Ecology, and today we are going to be making an alternative to Campari by creating Honeysuckle Bitters. This is going to be part of a two-part video where we create the bitters in the first and a Honeysuckle Negroni in the second. Honeysuckle, like this Amur Honeysuckle, is an invasive plant, so using the flowers that eventually will become the seeds is a great way to get rid of invasives. In the next session, we'll talk about why invasives like this Amur or Japanese honeysuckle is so bad for the environment. But for now, let's figure out how to identify this one. This honeysuckle is the invasive kind, and we can identify that by looking at its leaves, the flowers, and its overall growth structure. The Amur honeysuckle has a shrub-like structure as compared to the Japanese honeysuckle, which is much more of a vine. They are pale, the undersides are pale, while the top of the leaves are a slightly darker green. The undersides are also a little bit fuzzy. You can look and also see that they are opposite arranged. The petals of the honeysuckle form tubes, and that is where the nectar lies for pollinators. It's also where the nectar lies for us. Keep in mind you only want the flowers. When they produce berries in the fall, those berries are actually pretty toxic. So let's only use the flowers. You can harvest them by gently pinching off the flower here where it connects to the stem. Then fill up your jar halfway. This will create the bitters, which we will then use in our Negroni recipe. But bitters take an awful long time to make, so that's why we're splitting this one into two parts. We will be filling the rest of it with different types of citrus peels and vanilla too. We've got our half jar of honeysuckle flowers. Remember, with all that yummy nectar in it. Now we are going to make our Campari Substitute or alternative. We're gonna make that today with some moonshine. And this is from Hewn Spirits. They are a local here in Bucks County distillery, and they have a site here in Peddler's Village, which is where I live, so got that from them. And they have a site up in Pipersville as well, which is a great spot in like upper central Bucks County. But the coolest thing about Hewn, I think, is they're all completely local. Not only do they have local stores, but they also source everything for their distillery locally. The grains are all local, so this is a perfect way to be talking about and highlighting the importance of knowing where your food comes from and sourcing it locally, which reduces on fossil fuel emissions for transporting the goods, transporting your food, as well as just supporting local agriculturalists. So really great way. I'm very excited to partner with them. They've got a lot of different drinks, but today we'll be using the moonshine as a clear liquid to be really instilling and absorbing all of the goodness from what we're gonna make our Campari Substitute with. So we've got that. Think about what flavor you want your final bitters to be. Do you want it to be robust and citrusy? Do you want it to be mellow and bold and warm? Do you want it to be very like zippy, or I guess the opposite of zippy, whatever that would be? Think about the flavors you want. For me, I want my final drink to have a very refreshing, floral, and light sort of taste to it. So with your Campari Substitute, you are going to have your honeysuckle flowers, but then you can also combine different herbs, different spices, different citruses. So for that sunny, warm taste, I wanted grapefruit peel. But I don't want it to be super zingy, so I'm gonna mellow it out using vanilla. You could source this with the vanilla bean and actually put the bean in here, but to save on time, I'm going to just use 100% pure vanilla extract. Having it be pure is the point, because this is ultimately vanilla bean. It just saves me that one step. So take your grapefruit, your citrus, if you're gonna use lemon or orange peel, orange and rhubarb is really common in your Campari. So if you want that still orangey sort of flavor, using orange is also great. I'm gonna add some grapefruit peel to my jar. And I don't want to get too much of that white. That white is going to make things really, really bitter. Try to get just the peel. And add as much as you want to the jar. I can see that it's smushing my honeysuckle down a little bit, so I might want to add more honeysuckle flowers later. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Blood orange could also be a really nice one. I'm gonna add a little more. Why not? Because I'll be adding more honeysuckle. So now I'm going to add just a couple of drops of the vanilla extract. This is gonna be pretty strong as compared to an actual just vanilla bean. About a quarter teaspoon. Once I have kind of combined the citrus peel, the vanilla, and the honeysuckle, now we add our clear alcohol. This is different though than creating just an infused alcohol, in the sense that this is a really long process and it's a slightly different one as well. So while I pour this moonshine from Hume Distillery, and here I'm going to want to cover up all of my ingredients. There we go. What's going to happen is I'm going to let this steep. There we go. Really mix it in. I'm going to let this steep for 2 weeks. Once I let it steep for 2 weeks, I'm going to strain all the solid matter, all the plant matter out, and I'm going to take the liquid and I'm going to sweeten it. I'm going to make that into kind of like a simple syrup. I'm going to add that white sugar to it. But we're not done yet. I'm going to take this solid stuff and steep it in like a tea. That would just be water, and I'm just gonna steep it for a couple of hours just to get that final excess of flavor out. Then we're gonna combine all of the ingredients there. But that's how it's a little different than just a straight up infused alcohol. That's gonna be our Campari Substitute, which we will use next time to create our Honeysuckle Negroni. Normally this is the time that I try things. Oh, look how pretty it is. So springy. Did you enjoy making your first batch of Campari or Honeysuckle Substitute? This is going to be pretty exciting to try out next week. So stay tuned, get your goodness here going. Get prepared for next week when we make our Honeysuckle Negroni. You can learn more about the art of ecology by subscribing here for more nature and foraging videos. And like and stay tuned. I'm super excited. I can smell this through the lid. Yay!